Good morning everybody, it's me again, Bramley Farm, and today is a bittersweet morning. It's nice and dark. Stick around and find out. So today, it is very early, very cold, not used to being up this early, but we are loading up the last of our lambs and one ewe to send off to the abattoir. That actually means that this is the end of the first full lambing cycle. These 5 here are the last, the ones that was born here on Bramley Farm. And that one back there is one of the underperforming ewes that we've decided to cull and put in our freezer. We've had these in here the last few days because it's just easier to load up on the truck. So as you can see, the way it's going to do it, I'm going to open the gate up here, get stung by stingers, and they're going to run up there. Now, if sheep being sheep, they will try to escape, so I have to close this area off. So let's go get a gate and put here so they don't run around. Right then, let's load them up. Amy, don't let anything get through you, okay? That is your number 1 job. Otherwise you can chase them. Releasing the beasts. My makeshift gate is struggling. In fact, they'll go in with a bucket of feed. Let's make it nice for them. Oh, they're almost in anyway. And I scared them, so that's good. Come on, sheep, 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 sheep. Bucket train your sheep, guys. Sheep, 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 sheep. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. In. There we are. Right, get it. They are in. So, they are loaded. And we will now set off with a cup of tea in hand off to the abattoir. I'll see you in a bit. So we are now 4 minutes away from end destination, the abattoir. Just a little reflection. It's always sad and never nice doing this part because we've got such a small number of lambs. We get quite attached to them. We get bucket train. We bucket train them. We kind of know them personally. However, they are here to do exactly what we want them to do. We've just can rest assured that we've and sleep easy at night, that we have given them the best life possible, cared for them, and that hopefully was seen by how easy they were to get into the trailer with the feed. So yeah, we're 4 minutes out now. I'm not going to film in there. I think it's an unwritten rule. I haven't seen anything legally, but I'm not going to film there. But I'll see you once we've dropped them off. Right, so they are now dropped off. Still hate doing it. It's my 3rd time now, getting them out the trailer. They're looking at me. Well, I'm humanising it. Anyway, they're dropped off. They'll now be go to graduation camp today and sent to the butcher, which we will then pick them up this time next week. So I'm going to go home and have a coffee, and I will go through the numbers and talk about, was it worth it? Will I be doing it again? And talk about some money if you guys are interested. So stick around and we'll see you back at home. Right, so we are now in Bramley Farm's accounting department, where I am going to go through in as much detail as I can the financials of bringing in pregnant ewes, giving birth, selling some, keeping some. So I'll try and be as uncomplicated as I can. I've got my phone for the notes with the numbers. Invariably it's going to be complicated, so please stay with me, and hopefully we'll get through it together. So, ewes. Remember, I bought pregnant ewes, and that cost me £1,320. This 78 was me testing before I started shooting, so I forgot to rub it off. So lambs, I didn't buy any, so the total cost was £1,320. The setup costs, right, well, we didn't have lambs when I bought them, so the setup costs, again, was 0, but it cost me £716, and underneath that umbrella term, we have the drench guns, we have the sheep hoof trimmers, and other various bits like that. If you're interested in knowing the exact breakdown, let me know in the comments, but I'll keep it high level because you as a viewer probably well, I don't know whether you want to see it or not, but I'll give you the high levels here. So that cost me £716. Vets and meds. So vets was quite a big one. I called the vets out twice, one each for ewes given birth. One died, one didn't die, as well as buying all the Metacam anti-inflammatories for the pregnant ewes, but also for like the minerals and the vitamin stuff for the lambs. So that cost me £613 for the ewes, £373 for the lambs. Gives a grand total of 980. Can't read my writing here. I think six, or it's a zero. Forgive me for £6. Well, feed cost, that was really elevated this year. I don't know whether you've heard me mention on all my other previous sheep videos that we've had a drought all year, in which case they couldn't rely on eating the grass all year round, so we had to give them feed. We had to give the lambs some ewe nuts, and we had to give the lambs some creep feed, and the ewes some ewe nuts, as well as some mineral blocks. So the feed costs for the ewes was £540. That was a lot more than I expected, actually, because to be fair, from the day I got them to now, I've been giving them some ewe nuts. And the lambs cost £390, which give a total of £930. Farming seems to be very expensive. Bedding. I probably could have reduced price here, but when I got the 11 ewes to start off with, I kept them in the shed, if you remember, in Hotel de Sheep. I wanted them to get used to me to get used to them. I've kept them in, so you've got more straw, more hay. But also during the lambing period, I could have let them lamb outside, and kept them outside, but I decided to bring them in each so I can monitor them, so I can get used to them. So that is probably elevated, but it is what it is. So bedding for, and I split this just straight across both. Because it's pretty hard to say which one. If I buy some straw and I put it in with a ewe and a lamb, how do I split it? So I split it in half. So that's £345. Quick maths tells me that's £690. I'll come on to processing in a sec, but shearing, I don't have to shear the lambs, so that's a lovely zero. And the shearing, I knew someone to come and do it for me, worth every penny, £100. Now, processing, we sent in total 4 ewes off to be processed. We sold 2, kept 2, and we sold 11 lambs off. So, total figure of processing for the ewes, that's including dispatch and boxing, that was £232. There we are. And for the lambs, because there's more of them, £638, which gives a grand total of 870. It's looking quite bleak at the moment, I won't lie. This is a culmination of expenses throughout the year. It's a lot, but you didn't feel too... I've tried to justify it myself. When you keep spending out little and often, you try not to add it all up until I've done it now, and it's quite depressing, I won't lie. Cool, so total expenses. The ewes cost me £3,866. The lambs cost £1,746. That's my not nice happy face. Which gives a grand total of expense of £5,612. Now, what is funny, I convinced myself I needed sheep to cut the grass instead of buying a tractor. I could have bought a tractor with a lot less work, but that doesn't answer, was it worth it? We're more than halfway there, don't worry, please stay with me, but we're coming on to the money in. This is all the money out. Now let's talk about the money in. So we sold some mutton and sold some lambs, but we've also put some mutton and some lambs in our freezer, which I'm going to include here, because if I bought it, I would have to spend money, in which case the reversal is I'm adding it as income. So take of that what you will. So we sold 2 muttons at a grand total of £360 in, and we put 2 mutton into our freezer, so that's also £360. And we sold some lambs to customers with an income of £1,980. And I've put some in our freezer at the cost of £440. We come to a total income from the ewes of £720. Income from the lambs of £2,420, which is a combined income of £3,140. Now, if those who are keeping track, and please and thank you for still watching and continue to do so, we have a lot bigger out than we do have in. Welcome to farming. This seems to be a trend. So if I just scan you down, I'm going to fiddle the numbers to make it look not so bad, basically. We have an actual loss in year 1 of almost £2,500. I'm on my knees again, sorry if it looks strange, but loss of £2,500. However, let's make these numbers look good, as all accounting people do. Of all of these costs, which there are many, purchase and setup, one-off setup costs, come to £2,036. So hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, we don't have to see any of that next year. But I've also kept 6 lambs for next year's breeding, which at an approximate cost of £140 if I went and bought live lambs, that's £840 worth. So if I fiddle the numbers well enough, overall I'm £400 up. Not in actual cash, but in value, and enough to make me feel a bit better about this whole sheeping enterprise. So that's the financials. Financially, is it worth it? Cash in, cash out, cash is king. No, it's not. However, I think the key in farming is you're always trying to think about next year and the future. So yes, £404 is a modest amount of potential income for the amount of work that we do, but that hasn't answered was it worth it. Financially, no, but there's so many more different things to the word worth. Okay, so is it worth? I've got lamb and mutton in our freezer that I know exactly where it's been, if it's had any meds, how it's treated. So when I go and have the lovely succulent lamb, is it worth all the effort to put it in the freezer? Yes, it is. Being able to give friends and family some quality meat and having those conversations and explain to people what we do here, and just the enjoyment factor outweighs this figure here. Now, granted, these are a lot to find if you haven't got it. All I can suggest is using the guidance other farmers told me, and don't think about it. Think about all the good that you gain from it, putting meat in your freezer and having those good conversations. So, was it worth it? To answer the question, answer the video, yes, absolutely worth it. I'm going to bludgeon my way through and to try to do it next year. Was it sad sending them off to slaughter? Incredibly sad, doesn't get any easier. But is it worth it when I open up the freezer and there's lovely succulent meat in there? Yes. So I hope that's been really useful. If you want to get into sheep, it's expensive up front. You don't get all your money back, but there's intrinsic rewards back from it. If you are watching this and I've missed something completely, please let me know. If you somehow I've got these numbers completely out of whack with how you have done it, please put it in the comments. I'd love to know how your in and out money works. But yes, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope it's helped someone at least. I've tried to be as open and transparent as I can, and I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching.